Why do Catholic priests practice celibacy? It is often misunderstood that priestly celibacy is a doctrine or dogma of the Catholic Church. It is not. Rather, it is what is referred to as a norm or a disciplinary rule. In other words, over time, this discipline has changed and can be changed again. So when you hear the argument that Peter, the first pope, was married due to Jesus healing his mother in law, or priests and bishops from the early church having wives and children. These are not problematic arguments. All it means is that as time went on, the church found it more fitting for priests to remain celibate for reasons I will further develop. It is often claimed that celibacy is unnatural and it is therefore wrong to expect priests to adhere to it. This argument typically comes up in discussions regarding sexual scandals in the church. Some think that if we could simply allow priests to marry, these scandals and aberrations would disappear. To be clear, these scandals within the church are nothing less than evil, but they are not the natural result of priests practicing celibacy. Disordered sexual deviance, perversion, and immorality is its own problem, but it is not caused by celibacy. Likewise, good and holy Catholic priests practicing celibacy should not be looked at with contempt or suspicion for what other evil men do. The two issues ought to be kept separate. There is value found in the celibate life across many spiritual disciplines all over the world. So, why priestly celibacy? Beginning with a scripture, we see celibacy encouraged by St. Paul for those in focused service to the Lord. I want you to be free from anxieties. The unmarried man is anxious about the affairs of the Lord, how to please the Lord. But the married man is anxious about worldly affairs, how to please his wife, and his interests are divided. And the unmarried woman or girl is anxious about the affairs of the Lord, how to be holy in body and spirit. But the married woman is anxious about worldly affairs, how to please her husband. I say this for your own benefit, not to lay any restraint upon you, but to promote good order and to secure your undivided devotion to the Lord, so that he who marries his betrothed does well, and he who refrains from marriage will do better. St. Paul certainly understands the value of the vocation of marriage, but he suggests that those who are wholly committed to the spread of the gospel message would do better if their hearts are not divided. If one is anxious about things such as ensuring his family is provided for, his children are properly educated, and those in his care are safe and well, it is more difficult to abandon his entire body and soul to the work of the Lord, to the point of martyrdom, which our priests are certainly called to do. St. Paul himself was martyred by the Romans and was able to enter into that faith without any attachment to an earthly family. Jesus himself speaks of celibacy, saying, "For there are eunuchs who have been so from birth, and there are eunuchs who have been made eunuchs by men, and there are eunuchs who have made themselves eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. He who is able to receive this, let him receive it." He is stating here that while not everyone is called to this lifestyle, those who are able to endure it for the building up the kingdom of heaven on earth should be receptive to that calling because it is good. Finally, there is a purpose to priestly celibacy, which orders their actions toward the end or eternal. Perhaps this is not something often considered, but there is no marriage or marital relations in heaven. Here on earth, the marital embrace serves two purposes. It is both procreative and unitive. In heaven, there is no more need for procreation, as there is no more regeneration of humanity at the end time. There will also be no more need for the unitive aspects of sexuality in heaven, as all souls will be perfectly united with Jesus in a way that is far greater than anything we could imagine. As awesome as the unitive component of the marital act is here on earth, consider what St. Paul says is in store for us in heaven. What eye has not seen, and ear has not heard, and what has not entered the human heart, what God has prepared for those who love Him. This means that even some of the greatest gifts God has given us to enjoy on earth pale in comparison to what awaits us, although it likely requires the eyes of faith to imagine. This also means that those who practice celibacy on this earth are actually participating in a foretaste of heaven, where these attachments to bodily and physical passions will not exist. By their very lives, they anticipate the far greater spiritual good ahead. Wherever you fall on the spectrum of opinions regarding priestly celibacy, are you able to genuinely appreciate the sacrifice our priests make in earthly pleasure for our spiritual good? We ought to pray for our priests, both in thanksgiving for this gift, but also for their strength to persevere. God bless.